today I just wanted to take a quick moment to check in with you all. Yeah, you're the incredible people who tune in every day and make this podcast what it is. And I'm more than aware that I can be guilty of having my head down, recording interviews and packing each episode with insights from industry leaders and churning them out. And one of the reasons is the increasing number of tech events that I'm being invited to, which is fantastic. And also I've got the very nice problem of having 120 interviews booked in until May, which is a great problem to have. I don't want to neglect you, everybody listening. So today I want to hit pause and turn the microphone over to you. What do you love about Tech Talks Daily? What could I be doing better? What topics excite you? Which industries and tech trends should I be covering more of or maybe less? And one of the big reasons I ask this question is 120 interviews booked up until May. I'm getting 60 plus pictures to come on the podcast today. So it's getting very tricky on what I say yes to and what I say no to. So whether it is AI, cybersecurity, fintech, quantum computing, or the intersection of tech and sustainability, whatever it is, I want to hear what's on your radar. Your feedback shapes this podcast and who I ultimately say, yeah, come on here. So I truly appreciate every comment, message and suggestion that you send my way. And I also think I can get better at meeting some of you on the road. I always say it in my episodes to my guests, when I'm in your town, we can meet, we can have a drink. But what about you guys? If you want to take this conversation beyond the podcast, let's make that happen. Whether it's a hot coffee, a cold beer, or just a good old-fashioned chat on the show floor of a conference that you're heading to at the same time as myself. I'd love to meet up with you in person. And with that, I am increasingly taking Tech Talks Daily on the road this year, covering live events, moderating panels, and amplifying important conversations across the world of business and tech. So, quick heads up, if you are attending any of these events, let's connect. March 18th, I'm at the X4 Experience Management Summit in Salt Lake City. March 24th, move on to IGEL for their Now and Next event in Miami. And at the beginning of April, I'm on an IT press tour in London, so I will be in town there if you've got anything that you would like to talk about and meet me in person. And then in June, I'm back to Silicon Valley for an IT press tour, so I'll be all around that area. If you want to talk with me, meet me for a quick drink. So, if you're in London, Salt Lake City, Miami, or the Bay Area, let me know. Let's meet face to face instead of me just talking into your ears every day. And if you listen every day and maybe you'd like to work with me beyond the podcast, this is something I never mention on the podcast because it's something I don't want to make the podcast about me. Every episode should be about the guests. But I do get a fair few emails of people asking me, well, Neil, how do you earn your money? What do you do for a living? Well, beyond the podcast, I also work with businesses, industry leaders and brands looking to expand beyond their thought leadership and digital presence. So whether you need help launching a podcast, ghostwriting a blog post for your CEO, creating thought leadership content or business blogs, or covering and amplifying live events, I take care of all the heavy lifting. So you just focus on your expertise and let me help you launch a podcast from launch to editing and everything in between, blog posts, magazine articles, and any kind of content you wanted creating there. And event coverage, capturing insights from conferences, amplifying them through written and audio content, or separately hiring me to moderate a panel at one of your events. Ultimately, if you're looking for ways to get your message out to a wider audience, let's chat. Currently, I think we're at 5 million article views, 165 countries listening to the podcast, 3,200 interviews we've got under our belts now, and there's around about 200,000 a month of you tuning in at the moment. And one of the things that I've learned over the last 10 years, that's right, 10 years in June, this podcast will have been running. And one of the things that I've learned is podcasts are an incredible tool for storytelling, education, and improve engagement. And one of the things that I tell a lot of my clients is a 35-minute episode can hold around 5,000 words. That's the equivalent to 7 blog posts. And with 5 million active podcasts compared to 600 million blogs, the podcasting space is still relatively an open field to stand out, share your expertise, and connect with your audience in a meaningful way. Even though it does feel quite saturated, there's not as many as you might think. That's one of the reasons I enjoy helping people or businesses launch their podcast. Basically, I handle the tech, the editing, the distribution, so all they have to do is show up on a Microsoft Teams or Zoom call and talk. So if you do have that idea of a podcast floating around in your mind, but you were just unsure of where to start, let's talk. Together we can create something that helps you build authority and grow your brand with not as much effort as you might imagine. So, what's on your mind? What would you like to hear more of, less of? What is the one tech trend that you're keeping a very close eye on? Is there anything that's keeping you or your business up at night? And the reason I ask these questions is I genuinely want to shape this show around what matters most to you. That is what this small, bite-sized episode is all about today. And remember, if you're at any of the events I mentioned earlier, let's connect beyond the keyboard. LinkedIn and X, I'm just at Neil C. Hughes, nice and easy there. If you want to see pics of me out at events and stuff, just go on Instagram, at Neil C. Hughes. My website is techblogwriter.co.uk. You'll find out all details on how you can work with me, and I'll let you into a little secret. I'm also working on a special home for the podcast. After 3,200 interviews, I'm looking at creating tech talks daily and having everything on there. And also got ambitions to do something that I've been avoiding for nearly a decade. Yep, video. I thought it was a young man's game and no one would want to see me because I've got a great face for radio. But seriously, it seems that video is also the way to go. So I'm going to be looking at creating some video clips of future episodes so you can just go straight in and see some of the best bits. And again, you can go on YouTube for that. I'll just be at Neil C. Hughes. But all the social channels, best way of connecting and talking with you, these are things that I'm not great at. I'm very good at sitting down here and talking into a microphone to both you and guests and unlocking their insights. But any help, advice that you can offer me, reach out. Let's have a little chat. And as always, thank you so much for being a part of this incredible 10-year-long journey. And I hope you'll join me in continuing this journey for at least another decade. So thank you for listening to this quick episode. I'll be back again tomorrow with another guest. Normal service will be resumed, but please don't just passively listen. This is your opportunity to help shape the show. Thanks as always. Speak with you tomorrow.